Hi everyone, I'm John C. Morley, the host of the J Moore Tech Talk Show and Inspirations for Your Life. Well, hey guys, how are you? It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur, video producer, graduate student, marketing professional, and a lot more. And it's great to be with you on the J Moore Tech Talk Show as I unveil some amazing discoveries this week. First of all, friends, before we get started, I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you here to the J Moore Tech Talk Show. We are on every Friday, but of course, if you miss us, you can always go to believemeachieve.com and find the J Moore Tech Talk Show, as well as many other short form and long form pieces of content. All right, guys. So great to be with you. Hey, if you're thirsty, why not grab some water? I have some RO water here. It's filtered 7 times. You may want to get yourself a snack, perhaps a beverage, or maybe some fruit, whatever have you there. So feel free to do that. And come on back, all right? So welcome, everyone. If you're coming for the first time, I want to say a big, big, warm welcome to everyone. If you are coming back, well, of course, welcome back, everyone. It's always great to have you here on the J Moore Tech Talk Show. Now, today, I'm sharing a really, really, really good topic. I think one that you're going to, let's say, appreciate. And the topic for today's show is Cyberstorm. AI eats your job, hackers hit hard, and tech titans strike back. Series 4, Show 29. All right, with all that underway, what do you say that we go ahead and get started? So welcome once again to the J Moore Tech Talk Show. Hopefully you're comfy, you have your beverage, you have your snack, and let's get going. So each week, I break down the hottest tech stories and trends with insights, analysis, and a touch of curiosity to keep you thinking, inspired, and on the cutting edge. From AI breakthroughs to global tech policy shifts, I bring you the facts and the flair. The stuff that most media doesn't bring you because they don't want to tell you the truth. Well, number one, let's just kick this right off with Mr. President Trump. He threatens 30% tariff increase on the European Union and Mexico. So there's big moves planned on the trade front. President Trump is proposing a massive 30% tariff hike on the European Union and Mexican goods if this moves forward, because this could be a very, very big problem right now. Right? I think that's a very, very big problem, and it's not just locally; it's internationally, right? So I think that's a big problem. The tech and auto sectors are watching very closely as this could spark international economic waves, and I mean more than just ripples. I mean like tidal waves. So we're going to definitely keep our, let's say, ears to the metal, as we say, to let you guys know basically, what's going on and how is this going to affect your every single day. So it's all about trade tensions. And so Trump has reignited the global trade war fears by threatening the 30% tariff increase on imports from European Union and Mexico. And this is going to start supposedly August 1st. Shaking markets and sparking backlash from U.S. allies, unfortunately. In the theory letters posted to Truth Social, Trump accused partners of unfair trade and demanded zero tariffs in return. The European Union called the move, quote unquote, a supply chain disruption. and Mexico urged calmness but stood firm on sovereignty. With additional threats to 23 nations, including 50% tariffs on steel and copper, while the aggressive shift signals Trump's hardline return as stock markets reel and global trade hangs in the balance. Ouch. Wouldn't want to be him right now. Point number two for an interesting story is Air India crash is linked to an accidental fuel switch challenge. A chilling revelation from the investigation, unfortunately, into the Air India crash reveals that a deadly mistake, the wrong fuel switch, it claims. The highlights the critical importance of the automation, safety, and pilot training, and the most important of aviation technology. So, the Air India crash was linked to a pilot switch, quote unquote, confusion error, deadly confusion error in the cockpit. A shocking preliminary report in the tragic Air India Boeing 787 crash that killed 260 people reveals both engines lost power just after takeoff, when fuel cutoff switches mysteriously flipped within seconds of each other. As the plane plummeted down, one pilot asked the other why he shut off the fuel, only to be told, "I didn't." The cause of the switch movement remains unclear, with experts baffled and no emergency evident. The chilling incident, the world's deadliest air crash in the decade of us, is raising serious concerns over cockpit procedures, aircraft systems, and the future of India's national carrier under Tata. So these are some concerns, and hopefully they will be addressed, I'm going to say sooner than later, because, this Air India crash is a big thing. And, did the pilot make a mistake? Well, this is what many people are saying, that a pilot made a mistake. That's what a lot of people are saying. And so, like I was saying before, a cockpit voice recording has revealed the confusion between the pilots regarding the engine shutdown. That was what was heard before when we said, "Why did you cut it off?" And to which the other responded that they had not done so. And so it's important to note that the investigation is still in its early stages, and the AAIB has not assigned blame for the incident yet. Air India CEO Campbell Wilson has urged staff not to jump to conclusions, emphasizing that the probe is far from over. The fuel control switches are designed with a locking mechanism to prevent accidental movement and are typically only used for starting and shutting down engines on the ground. This incident has raised questions about pilot training and the procedures for handling emergencies involving engine shutdowns during critical phases of flight. A definitive answer to whether the pilots made a mistake will likely depend on the final report from the AAIB. So we'll definitely keep you in the loop to what's going on about that. And Trump is on the rampage to fire 1,350 plus State Department employees. Another sweeping of Trump's power here, with him starting to fire 1,050 plus state employees in a bold move signaling massive administrative shakeups. The digital infrastructure of diplomacy could see major reboots. I don't know if everybody is really ready for this right now, but it's definitely a problem. And so, in a sweeping America First purge, the Trump administration has begun firing over 1,350 U.S.-based State Department employees, including hundreds of seasoned diplomats and civil servants, as part of a radical shakeup to realign supposedly foreign policy. Critics are warning it leaves America dangerously exposed amid global crisis of cries from Ukraine and Gaza, and the fuel fears of a weekend U.S. presence abroad. And emotional scenes are unfolding as the dismissed staff pack boxes and hug colleagues during a dramatic send-off in D.C., while banners reading "Thank you, America's diplomats" captured the heartbreak, with more layoffs planned to follow by Trump's deep state crackdown. It's now part of, something that's hitting home at the heart of U.S. diplomacy. Is this going to go somewhere, or is this going to just cause a lot of problems? And ladies and gentlemen, Russia launches a massive drone attack on the Ukraine. I mean, really, can they just stop playing these kindergarten games? Russia unleashes its largest drone assault on the Ukraine to date. This act underscores the evolving battlefield of cyber physical warfare and how tech-like drones are reshaping modern conflict. Ugh, that is just terrible. So, with Russia unleashing this massive drone attack, by the way, Russia fired nearly 600 drones and 26 missiles across the Ukraine, killing, unfortunately, 2 and injuring 20, with Chernihiv and Lviv among the hardest hit. Ukraine shut down hundreds, but strikes shattered homes, universities, and, businesses. President Zelensky called for urgent air defense support and tougher sanctions, warning that only strength can stop Moscow's escalating campaign. Civilian casualties are surging right now, with a lot happening, marking the deadliest months in the years, which we just closed on not too long ago, June. So this is a problem, guys, and I feel it's only going to get worse before it gets better. And I think a lot of people out there don't really understand what's going on. And I ask this question every day, when? And this is a great question. When will the Ukraine, Russia war be over? And it's hard to say that. No one can definitively give an answer when the war will end. There are lots of scenarios, but quick resolution is not something that's on the forefront for anytime soon. The conflict is a complex one with, unfortunately, no clear path to victory for either side. And a war could potentially drag on for, years. And it may evolve into a frozen, standstill or conflict, and end with decisive victory for either Ukraine or Russia. But nobody seems to really know what's going on with it, so we'll just have to see. And ladies and gentlemen, the world's first artificial intelligent design restaurant opens in Dubai. Gets ready to open. Yes, Dubai does it again. The world's first AI design restaurant is here, where machines handle layout, lighting, and even the menu. The future of hospitality is officially automated, and the aesthetics are being controlled by that as well. But when we think about this concept, right? That's what it is. It's a concept. It actually has come to fruition. Dubai is actually set launching the new Woohoo, they call it, the world's first AI design restaurant, where the entire dining experience, as I said, the menu, the ambiance, the service, is totally managed and crafted, they call it, by the artificial intelligence called basically Chef AI Man. And so while human hands will still plate the food, this futuristic eatery promises a fully AI-driven concept when it opens in September, they're claiming, blending cutting-edge tech with culinary creativity in the heart of the UAE. Now, I know that this is probably something a lot of people are scared about because they don't necessarily know, what's going to happen. I mean, the AI system is going to cook the food. I don't know about you, but I didn't think AI was such a great cook. I've seen some of the recipes that AI has conjured, and I'd probably rather have water and crackers because they just not been too great. And OpenAI launches the AI browser to, shall we say, rival Chrome? A Chrome challenger emerges now, with OpenAI just launching its own AI-powered browser, bringing real-time intelligence to, they claim, your fingertips, and redefining how we surf the web. I think this whole concept is just getting, it's really getting crazy, if you ask me. Everything's becoming AI, right? So OpenAI versus Chrome is the battle. The new AI browser drops and the U.S. online sales exploded to 24.1 billion during the July Black Friday and summer. The smashing forecasts as shoppers rushed for deals, while AI innovation heats up across tech, from NVIDIA's supercomputer chips and AI-powered fighter jets to OpenAI launching, as we said, the new browser aimed at challenging Google's Chrome dominance in the browser wars. The question is this going to change? And we've even seen now that Google is starting to implement AI in their search engine. So, I mean, is somebody going to get smarter than Google? Is somebody going to develop something that really is pretty amazing? Or is this just going to become another, well, shall we say, another unfortunate monopoly? I hope not, because our country cannot afford to have another decade of Google controlling it. We need somebody else that can be accountable and responsible for searching data and not serving as a monopoly. I know they claim that if they didn't exist, that it would be hard for people. I say, phooey on that, because all they care about, ladies and gentlemen, is themselves. They don't care about you. They don't care about I. They care about if their system is going to be making the money. That's really what it's coming down to. I mean, when push is starting to come to shove. And Stanford, ladies and gentlemen, debuts a deep-sea humanoid robot. This is pretty cool, guys. Diving into innovation, Stanford engineers unveil a deep-sea, that's what it is, humanoid robot that mimics human movement while exploring ocean depths. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the new era of underwater exploration. And I think that's a pretty amazing thing that's starting to, let's say, happen here. So this deep sea robot with human touch makes waves all over. Stanford's researchers are revolutionizing the ocean exploration with a remote-controlled humanoid robot that lets scientists feel the deep sea from miles away, bringing a groundbreaking human touch to underwater missions. So I think this sounds interesting, but the question is, I haven't seen it firsthand, right? Is it all about hype? Is it really going to do something? So the new robot is called Ocean 1K, and they claim it's revolutionizing the deep sea exploration by allowing researchers to experience the sense of touch remotely, bringing a human touch to the depths of the ocean, as we say. This is pretty interesting. It's been developed by Stanford Robotics Lab. It uses haptic feedback and stereo vision to enable researchers to feel underwater objects and manipulate tools as if they were physically present. So what that means is that if, let's say, a researcher is using gloves or something, and they're able to tell from the different, let's say, vibrations, they could tell what's in its current environment. So Ocean 1K has combined a humanoid design with a multi-directional thruster, an advanced haptic feedback system, the stereoscopic vision, and allowing it to perform tasks with human-like precision and dexterity. The robot can dive to depths of 1,000 meters, is what they claim. So if we were to convert what's 1,000 meters to feet, pretty easy. That's 328.084 feet, for those of you that wanted me to do the math on that. So interesting. So by allowing researchers to feel and interact with deep-sea environments, Ocean 1K opens up new possibilities for archaeological research, marine biology, and even underwater engineering. The possibilities are endless. Technology could also be used for space exploration, for potential applications with astronauts interacting with robots on other planets or moons. And so 1K has already been used to explore various shipwrecks in the Mediterranean Sea, including a P-38 aircraft, a Beechcraft Baron, the submarine Le Protégé, a Roman shipwreck, and the Francesco Crispi passenger ship. The robot's ability to provide haptic feedback allows researchers to touch these historical artifacts and experience them in a way that was previously impossible. And I know what a lot of you are probably saying, right? And this is a good question. How much, right? How much is Ocean 1K? Well, the cost of the Ocean One Candor robot is not publicly available. While the Ocean One K project is known, the specific price is not disclosed. But if we had to guess, high-end industrial robots used for complex tasks in harsh environments like underwater can cost upwards of 100,000 or more. This is just from some of the robots in the past. But the fact that it's got all this haptic technology, we could have a robot conceivably. I wouldn't be surprised if this robot could be $250,000, $500,000, maybe even $1 million. I mean, what it's doing is a pretty unique thing. And the fact that we're starting to get this technology and be able to utilize it, I think that's just really, really powerful. And ladies and gentlemen, I know you're going to love to hear this one. TikTok, yes. TikTok races to build the US only version of their platform. TikTok is in, well, crisis mode right now. They're building a US only app to avoid a looming ban, which has been held over them for a while. With a fresh algorithm and a tighter set of data rules, this could change everything for creators and the short form video world. The question is, what else is known, about the new US TikTok app? And I would say not a lot. It's being developed by ByteDance, TikTok's Chinese parent company, with plans to launch around September 5th. This new app is part of a potential effort to address national security concerns raised by the U.S. government regarding the existing TikTok app and its ties to China. The existing TikTok app is expected to be removed from the U.S. app stores on the same day the new app launches, but users may be able to continue using the current app until March of next year. Okay, they're also saying that you're going to be able to just take your account. This is what they're saying, and it will just kind of like, just transfer over to that platform. Okay. TikTok is not being very transparent. Like things like the For You page. The Chinese government has repeatedly said it would block any transfer of the app's algorithm to a new owner, meaning any new separate American TikTok would, because this is one of the conditions that they've decided to do, would need its own algorithm, possibly built from the ground up. So the question is this. So TikTok's working on it, right? But my question is, do we trust what they're doing? Like, I would think that they should, allow us to build our own version of the platform with their assistance. Will the new app comply with the law? Under the law, the post-sale U.S. TikTok couldn't continue working with ByteDance to operate the algorithm or share its data. So we know a lot of stuff happening. TikTok may have realized that even if the Trump administration wants to protect it, future administrations could come after the app or its technology partners, including app store operators and cloud computing providers, for violating the law. So it can't put off a deal indefinitely. And this was direct from Hans from the company. So eventually, there's going to be some political shift. And maybe there'll be some accountability. Maybe. So if they're the company, maybe they'll be happy with what's going on today. But they have to think about the future, right? What if TikTok was just removed tomorrow? I mean, what would happen? I mean, that would probably disappoint a lot of creators, unfortunately. We'll have to see, guys, what's going on there. But I will definitely keep you in the loop. Qantas cyber attack exposes 6 million accounts. This is like really treacherous. A massive cyber attack strikes Qantas, exposing 6 million customer accounts as airlines become digital first. Cybersecurity is no longer optional. It is, well, it's a necessity for survival. So definitely a big issue there. And Qantas, as I said, was hit by this cyber breach of the major cyber attack that struck Qantas, exposing personal data of 6 million customers. Australia's largest breach in years, jeopardizing the airline's efforts to rebuild trust after, well, some past scandals. The question, though, is even though they're doing these things, what are people doing to, let's say, not have these problems anymore? Are they addressing this, or is it just kind of being like, a woo woo, so you can like just go away? I don't know. I think more is going to have to be said about this, but we're going to definitely, you know, keep you in the loop to what's going on with this thing with with the Qantas. The fact that it's jeopardizing the airline's efforts to rebuild trust after past scandals. That's a problem. That is a very very big game changer. And ladies and gentlemen, you know how much I appreciate my water, my RO water here. Absolutely cold, cool, refreshing, and delicious. What if you couldn't drink your water? Well, Meta's data center was blamed for toxic water in Georgia. Meta's massive data center in Georgia is under what we call fire for polluting local water supplies. As AI demands grow, so does the environmental cost, something big tech can no longer ignore. So, tainted water, right beside a U.S. data center. A data center built by Meta in rural Georgia has left local resident, actually Beverly Mars, struggling with contaminated water and low pressure, forcing her to haul buckets just to flush toilets. As AI and cloud services drive a surge in massive water hungry data centers across the U.S., communities nearby face growing environmental and health concerns. While tech giants promise greener solutions and sustainability goals, the clash between digital progress and basic resources like clean water is intensifying, especially in hotspot regions like Georgia, where data centers rapidly expand amid rising local pushback. So the question is, and this is a really, really good question. Most people ask you, like, how is that even possible? So how is Meta, let's say, contaminating the water supply? And I think this can be a little bit of a challenge. They claim that the construction of the new data center near home disrupted her private water well, leading to a buildup of sediment. While Meta has denied the specific allegations, citing a groundwater study that found no adverse effects, the incident underscores a broader concern, ladies and gentlemen, about the environmental impact of large-scale data center development. And I think this is going to be a very very big concern, not just today, ladies and gentlemen, but I think in the days to come, months to come, years to come. Um, More broadly, data centers, including those operated by companies like Meta, can contribute to water contamination in a couple ways. One is the PFAS contamination. Data centers sometimes utilize liquid cooling systems or suppression systems that contain PFAS, in short, forever chemicals. These chemicals can be released during maintenance, testing, or system failures, potentially contaminating waterways. Increasing wastewater discharge. The vast amounts of water used for cooling data centers can lead to significantly increased wastewater discharge, potentially containing contaminants like nitrates, depending on the treatments and recirculation practices. Disruption of local water systems. The construction and operation of data centers can disrupt local hydrology and groundwater systems, potentially impacting private wells and causing settlement runoff into water bodies, like what happened supposedly to Beverly Mars. So the question is, how much water does a data center, that is an AI data center, use for a query? And that's a great question. The water consumption for a single AI query in a data center, they claim, is very small, but the cumulative effects of billions of queries is substantial. So let's think about this right now. How much water is needed to cool the Meta data center in Georgia per day? How much do you think? Let's blow your mind, all right? So to cool its data center in Newton County, Georgia, Meta's facility typically consumes, are you ready? 500,000 gallons of water per day. This accounts for roughly 10% of the entire county's daily water usage. And so the substantial water usage is primarily due to the need to keep the computer servers from overheating or from employing to cooling methods like evaporative cooling systems. And in evaporative cooling, water absorbs heat from hot air. And then evaporates, cooling the air before it's circulated to cool the servers. So again, evaporative cooling, water absorbs the heat from the hot air and then evaporates. Okay, the cooling the air before it's circulated to cool the servers is important. And it's also important to note that the increasing demand for AI and its computational requirements are expected to further increase water consumption by data centers in the near future. So I think there's got to be some concern about what's going on, but people are claiming that Meta is drying their taps, and by that we're talking about their water supplies, in case you're wondering. But we'll definitely keep you in the loop to what's happening there. How about this, ladies and gentlemen? I'm not a beer drinker, but what if beer could be made without alcohol? Well, a UK brewery crafts, they claim, tastier, non-alcoholic beer. As we'll say, cheers to science, right? Wiper and True users reverse osmosis to brew flavorful non-alcoholic beer. Taste is no longer sacrificed in the name of sobriety. It's actually enhanced, is what they are saying. So it's all about unlocking the secret to better non-alcoholic, beer. Brewing better non-alcoholic beer is getting a scientific makeover, as UK brewery Wiper and True uses innovative reverse osmosis, as I was saying, proving that the tastiness can still be there and be crafted without using alcohol. This is interesting. I don't know, though, if this is going to go anywhere. I don't know. And the question is, is non-alcoholic new RO beer any good? And I don't know, because I haven't tasted. I'm not a beer person. New alcoholic beer can be a mixed bag depending on individual preferences. The specific style of beer, they claim, and so tastes and expectations, they claim, could be different. But the manufacturer claims it's actually better. I don't know. Is this a marketing ploy? The variety is also the key. The market for non-alcoholic beers is diverse, with options ranging from larger lagers and IPAs to stouts and sours. Popular and highly rated NA beers, things like Athletic Brewing Company, Run Wild IPA, Free Wave Hazy IPA, Upside Down, a Golden, Brooklyn Brewery Special Effects, Hopper Amber IPA, Guinness, Heineken, Wyven Staffenhaler, Klostenhaler, Leguntas, Brewdog, Surya Grainwave, Bravis Brewing Company. And so, health considerations. So, non-alcoholic beers generally have fewer calories and no hangovers compared to alcoholic beers. However, it's important to note that many stills contain a small amount of alcohol, typically less than 0.5% of ABV. Some brands like Heineken and Suntory, all three, claim to be 100% zero alcohol. But that's not really true. So if the new RO refers to a specific non-alcoholic beer, then what's really going on? Are they mixing things? I mean, I would think they should have their own system, and that's just my thing, but I don't know what they're doing. And ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking a lot about M&S, right? So here's something to share with you guys, is that 4 were arrested for hacking. That's right, for hacking the M&S and the Co-op, a major cyber bust. 4 suspects were arrested for hacking major UK retailers, It's a win for the digital justice and a warning to hackers that you're not invisible. I think that's an important message to send home, to what's going on there. But 4 suspects have been arrested, as I said, in a major crackdown on the cyber attack that targeted retail giants like M&S and co-ops, disrupting operations and raising alarms over data security. So hopefully maybe they woke up. This swift law enforcement action sends a powerful message to hackers, threatening critical infrastructure, highlighting growing efforts to protect consumer data and retail systems from increasingly bold cybercrime. Now, I've said this before, guys. It's not new. I said that it's not a question of if you're going to get attacked, but when, if you are not properly protected. I mean, that's truth. It's just hands down truth. And video game actors finally win an AI protection deal in, protecting their licensing. It's what they claim victory for voice. Video game actors have secured a formal protections against AI mimicry, ensuring fair use of their likeness and voice. The gaming world has just leveled up on the ethics, but it's not just the gaming world, folks. If you use AI software, let's say to create videos, and you decide to use and deploy a virtual actor, and that virtual actor is downloaded onto your computer in a video project, you will find that there is usually a 60 or 90-day clause saying that you have rights to use this for 60 or 90 days, after which you must seek a license from whoever it is that you're using let's say the workflow from, or the AI voice from. So there are some limitations. Some companies are saying, hey, if it's under X seconds, but I think eventually we're going to see that any AI, okay, and what I mean by that is any AI system that is based on somebody in the real world, like if it's a famous actor, it could be anybody, Tony DeVito, it could be, let's try to think, who are some of the most famous actors? Famous actors today, I mean, you could be like Morgan Freeman, it could be Denzel Washington, it could be Johnny Depp, it could be Tom Cruise, it could be Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, okay? They've been around for quite a while. Even if the person is not alive, there can still be people in next of kin or agencies that are still going to want to get paid for you using their work. So I think that's important to understand. The number one actors in the world right now, Scarlett Johansson, Samuel Jackson, and Robert Downey Jr. and Zoe Salenda. So again, what I want to share with you is that these people have given their voice and they deserve to get paid for it. And so they feel that if you're going to do this, that they should get paid. I think the licensing deal might be harsh for some small companies, but they had to do this or they would be taken advantage of. And the different companies that are deploying the AI don't want to get involved with these small deals. They want to make money. So let's face it, if they're charging you this fee for, let's say it's 60 or 90 days, they might actually have the rights for even longer, but they're trying to make money on the deal. That's how I picture that. So it's victory for voice, they claim. And the gaming world is leveled up. Like I said, not just the gaming world, a lot of other AI worlds too. So again, the game actors in short strike and ends with the landmark AI deal. After a long year battle, around 2,500 SAG-AFTRA video game actors have officially ended their strike following a groundbreaking deal securing strong AI protections, historic pay rates, and better health and safety measures. The deal includes strict consent and transparency rules to prevent unauthorized AI replication of actors' performances, especially for motion capture artists who feared being replaced. With 95% union approval, the agreement marks a major win for performers fighting to protect their craft and livelihoods in an industry increasingly influenced by, that's right, AI technology. So AI, ladies and gentlemen, is not good, it's not bad, but we have to deploy it in a way that is not going to deprive us of our worth. I think that can be the problem that happens with AI, to be, quite truthful with everyone. So we're going to just have to see, what happens with that. But it's definitely something that is, I think, really, really important. And another interesting thing that I really want to bring up with you guys, and digital phone switch risk cutting telecare alarms and an urgent fix is unfortunately needed. So the UK's digital landline upgrade risks cutting off vital telecare alarms for thousands as the nation switches from analog to digital phones by 2027. Many vulnerable people relying on telecare alarms face possible disruption. Authorities urge users to contact their providers now to update their equipment and ensure life-saving alerts keep working, because staying connected could save lives. So when we think about this, many companies are offering the upgrade for free. Many people are offering it for a nominal fee. So when we talk about digital, we talk about analog, right? They're two different types of signals. So we can't mix them unless we have a converter. So it might be something like, they're going to provide you another piece of equipment. And that piece of equipment will connect to either your cellular network. Okay, it could be like similar to like your network used for your cell phone, but it will be a different SIM chip, which is a subscriber identification module, which now is actually going to be, could be digital for that, or it could be something else. It could be connecting on the internet, and then that could be done, by basically, connecting to your local Wi-Fi if it's Wi-Fi. So it could be connecting right to your home Wi-Fi and just going right off of that. But the thing with this is that we all know that Wi-Fi networks go down sometimes. Unfortunately, guys, they do. I'm sorry to tell you that, but they do. And so this could be a big problem for a lot of people because they don't realize, what's going on. So the question you might say is, so what are, telecare providers doing to ensure that, analog won't be disrupted for their service? So analog is going to be basically removed. We know that. That's not a big thing. But incompatibility of the analog equipment with digital networks is a problem. And so reliability issues with analog equipment is an issue. But also, if you just connect it to Wi-Fi only and you don't have a great Wi-Fi system, well, I got news for you. You're going to have more trouble, because we all know that sometimes Wi-Fi networks drop, especially if it's not a really great Wi-Fi network, right? I have so many people I've talked to, they go and buy a router for $39 and they try to secure a home that's 3,000 square feet. That ain't working. I'm sorry, that's just not going to work. Or they realize that they bought a device that's great, but they're beyond the limitations of the device. The device might be 1,500 feet, 2,500 feet, and they got a home that's 4,500 feet, and they don't want to spend the money for the extenders. That's just a little bit crazy, if you ask. And, ladies and gentlemen, another interesting thing that's been happening, and I think it's something that's happening everywhere. When we talk about this thing about the digital phones, it's not just affecting people that are older. It's affecting even daily people that require communication for emergency type situations. Right? So definitely a big challenge with, what is going on there. But we're going to have to keep you, I guess, in the loop to, what's going to happen and, what's not going to happen. But I will tell you that this issue with what's going on is not going to get better until it gets worse, unfortunately, guys. So we went over some very, very hot topics today. And I think one of the most important things I want to share with you about this, and this title really does a great job in, well, conveying what today's show's about. And so when we think about that title, which is what I read you guys before, and that is this: the title of today's show, okay, is Cyberstorm. AI eats your job, hackers hit hard, and tech titans strike back. You see, many people have not been striking back because there's been a cost associated with it, or there's a learning curve, an educational reason, right? And but you can't just shove that under the carpet for the rest of your life. You have to address like the purple elephant or the elephant that's in your room. Like you have to address it. Basically, what that's saying is you have to address the problem sooner or later. You can't just let that purple elephant or that big gray elephant just live in your dining room. I don't think you can. It'd be a problem because, well, let's just think about this, the stupidity or the irony of that, right? So, what would be the challenges of keeping your own elephant in your home? What do you think would be? Let's just kind of just talk about the irony of this. So, space requirements. Elephants are huge animals. They need vast open spaces to roam and exercise. A typical home or backyard is nowhere near enough. Diet nutrition is a problem. Elephants eat hundreds of pounds of food daily, mainly vegetation. Supplying the right diet would be expensive and very complicated. Healthcare. Elephants require specialized veterinary care that is rare and costly. Their complex health needs include foot care, tusk maintenance, and monitoring for stress-related illnesses. Legal restrictions. Most countries have strict laws against owning wild or exotic animals like elephants due to safety or conservation concerns. Safety risks. Elephants are incredibly strong and can be dangerous if stressed or frightened, and they could cause severe damage to you or property or other people. Environmental impact. The noise, the waste, environmental needs of an elephant are overwhelming. Managing their waste alone would be a huge challenge. Ethical and welfare concerned. Elephants are highly social, intelligent animals that thrive in herds. Isolation in a home setting can lead to, well, severe psychological distress. Never heard of having a psychologist for an elephant, but you never know. The cost beyond food and care, building adequate housing, fences, and enrichment would cost a fortune. Longevity, elephants live 67 years, 70 years. So it's decades of long commitments. That's a very, very long thing. So is it legal to own an elephant in New Jersey? Let's just see if it is. I'm just going to go check and see if they have a thing on this. No, it's not legal to own an elephant as a private pet in New Jersey. Under the state regulations, elephants are classified as quote unquote wild or exotic animals, and personal possession is prohibited unless authorized by a permit from the Department of Environmental Protection, the DEP. Additionally, New Jersey has enacted Nosey's law, named after a rescued circus elephant, which bans the use of elephants and other wild or exotic animals in traveling animal acts such as circuses and carnivals. While certain institutions like zoos and educational facilities may obtain permits to house such animals, under strict conditions, private ownership is not permitted, and the law aims to protect public safety and ensure the well-being of the animals. Of course, if you want to support animals like elephants, you can consider contributing to the reputable wildlife conservation organization or visiting sanctuaries that provide ethical care for these majestic creatures, or maybe even your local zoo. So I brought this up for a point, right? It's not the fact that something is going to happen tomorrow. It's the fact that somebody's going to try, and then when they try, it's going to cause more implications of, well, challenges, things that could harm others. And, you never maybe thought about owning an elephant. I mean, we're being facetious, right? But seriously, owning an elephant, I mean, can you imagine, like, if somebody could own an elephant, like, you might think it's cool in one breath, but another breath would be like, you got an elephant. Oh, yeah, I got a problem with my pipe again. What happened? Oh well, Wilbur, my elephant. He was walking around and he stepped on the pipe in the kitchen, and now we have a flood upstairs. I mean, you laugh, right? Or I had to get the cleaner in because the elephant didn't do its business in the appropriate place. It did on my brand new carpet, and now I have to wait till the rug cleaner comes in or something. So I mean, it's kind of stupid, but in the same regard, hopefully you understand the seriousness of why the DEP does not allow you to own an elephant. I mean, when I just think about that, that just like I don't know about you, but that just kind of blows my mind that somebody would want to own an elephant. I don't know. So we talked about Trump threatening the 30% tariff on the European Union and Mexico. It's supposed to be enacted in August. The Air India crash, we still don't have answers on. The Trump fires, which are just going to get worse before they get better, of 1,350 State Department employees. And Russia launching the massive drone attack on the Ukraine. I mean, I think that's just like ridiculous. The first AI designed restaurant, right? Can you imagine visiting the first AI designed restaurant? I mean, when I think about the concept of it, right? Um, it's interesting. A restaurant that markets itself as offering dining in the future is scheduled, as I said, to open in September in Dubai. It's located just a short distance from the Burj Khalifa, tallest building in the world, according to routers. So while the human hands will still assemble the food, as we said, for now, they're saying, everything else, including the menu, the atmosphere, and the service, will be designed by a culinary broad lingual model called Chef AI Man. And according to Ahmet Atun Kakir, one of the founders of Woohoo and that's the name of it, Woohoo AI Man, a combination of artificial intelligence and human, has been educated on decades of culinary science study. I don't know if I want to eat there. While AI Man cannot taste, smell, or interact with his dishes like a chef normally would, the model works by breaking cuisine down to its component parts, such as texture, acidity, and umami, reassembling them into unusual flavors and ingredient combinations. AI Man's developers are continuing to work and to change this. So when we think about this, if this works, they're going to try to do this all over the country. I think the next place we'll probably see it is Chicago. We'll probably see it in New York. But I think it causes a lot of fear with people because they don't know what to expect. And I bet the next thing you're probably wondering is, how much would it cost to dine in the new AI restaurant in Dubai in US dollars? How much do you think it'll cost? Well, they're still working on the menu, obviously. But based on some of the data that I have gathered, um, this experience is going to cost somewhere between $110 to $270 per person. They're saying that the average for this will probably be around $259. So a meal conceivably could cost between $100 and $200 easily. Interesting. And is OpenAI and Google going to play nice in the same sandbox, or are they going to fight like 2-year-olds? I don't know. I love what Stanford did with the new deep sea humanoid robot. I think we're going to see more explorative types of robots and technologies out there that are going to utilize human interfaces, and those human interfaces will basically be things like things we see, things we hear, things we touch. But you have to realize something. When we say things we see, the computer can't necessarily see that and know what it is. We have to tell the computer that this is a ball or this is that. We have to explain that to the computer in data libraries. And the Quanta cyber attack, I mean, that's just like, I gotta tell you guys, I think that's just so pitiful that's happening. And I blame the fact that the airlines don't want to spend money. That's what I blame it on. They could, but it's just not a top priority. And Meta, I can't say I blame this lady. I think what she's doing every day to have safe water, and she can't even flush her bathroom toilets without carrying buckets. I mean, that's crazy. The UK brewery trying to make tastier non-alcoholic beer. Well, kudos to that. I'm not a beer drinker, but I think that's a very interesting thing. I'm glad that SAG-AFTRA has finally negotiated a deal. And so, although many of you are going to be complaining that you have to pay for AI rights, thing is, if you were an actor, wouldn't you want to get paid? I know I would. And the record heat waves are forcing global infrastructure upgrades. Global heat waves are shattering records and melting old infrastructures from roads to server farms. Everything's being re-engineered to survive the new climate tech challenge. I mean, we remember what happened on Route 80 here in New Jersey. Actually, it was Route 80 was, and then we had something on 287. 287 was even worse because that happened in one day, that the road was melting because the rebar, the metal they put under the road before they put the tar and the macadam down, it was getting so hot that was like piercing holes through the road. That's just like, that's crazy. So I want to encourage you that the more you evolve in our world and that we learn more about AI is a tool that is not perfect. AI is getting better. Remember, AI is not going to replace a human as much as many people say it will. AI is not going to be emotional. Even if we program it to have feelings, those aren't feelings. Those are synthetic feelings. I hope this makes sense to a lot of you. And if it does, I would encourage you to comment back. Or if it doesn't, let me know what doesn't make sense, because I would love to share some of this amazing stuff and how really just making the choice to be more aware of what AI does, I think, is a very first good start. You don't have to be an expert in this world, but you do need to make a conscious choice and decision that you want to be involved, that you want to know what's happening with AI. You want to know what it's doing, right? Even people getting jobs today. There's a button. Do you want to opt out of getting the AI automation system to scan your resume? Most people say, of course I don't want that, right? But those are challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, you know who I am by now. I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Do check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. And I'll catch you next week on the J Moore Tech Talk Show for more tech insights. Have a good one, everyone, and a fantastic weekend.